Here we go.
We're on the last session. Just kidding, not the last session. We
Well,
have happy hour still.
Well, the last educational session. The next one is like a lifestyle session. It's like, this is fun.
This is fun. You get to learn about different countries and their facts.
Yes.
But this is a pretty fun session.
Oh, yeah. So I'm getting ahead of myself, but everyone, we have trivia happy hour after this. I'll explain it again. But Bonnie, I looked at the questions just right before this, and I can't wait.
I know.
There's some good stuff.
I always learn a lot when I put them together. So hopefully, if you guys join us, you'll also learn quite a bit and maybe win some prizes.
Yes. Oh, it's going to be so awesome.
Yes, last educational fun. Jinx.
Yes, that's so true. Well, here, I'm going to keep, since it's just like instrumental music, I'm just going to keep this going while I do my slides because we're just going to have so much fun here. Okay, so this is the last one, which is crazy. But if you haven't joined us and you just waited until the last one to join us, we're glad you're here. But if this is your first time, I'm Stephanie, and this is
Bonnie. Hello, glad to have you.
It's so excited to be here with you all. But just want to welcome you to this session of creating a website in Travefy 101, which Bonnie's going to actually present and take over. But I have a couple things that I want to talk about before I hand it over to her. So first things first, this is being recorded. So don't worry. If you need to hop off, it's okay. It's totally all right. We are going to be recording. It's actually recording right now. So these will be available at bootcamp.travefy.com. So we've been recording all of them. So all of these, oh gosh, sorry. Okay, there we go. All of these sessions before this, so this is the last one. So they're all up already at bootcamp.travefy.com. And then even this one will be up just 15, 20 minutes after we wrap up. And then it actually goes on right away. So you'll be able to watch it, or if you need to check some of these out over the weekend, whatever you need to do, go for it. They'll live there forever. I will say though, that if you didn't join us for the one yesterday, what makes today different from yesterday is today's all about Travefy. So if you've been joining us for the past couple sessions before today, they're all about Travefy as a software tool to build your business. But yesterday's sessions, we actually brought in industry experts, speakers from the industry, and they just shared various topics all surrounding on how to build a great business in travel. So it's really great. All those sessions were incredible. So highly, highly recommend. So, okay, now let me pause the song because it started going to the Beach Boys, which we'll listen to that later. So the next thing that I want to mention too, though, is that for a quick plug here, is that this will be, we're almost wrapping up the end of New Agent Bootcamp. This was our second year doing it. It was so awesome. It's really fun just to kind of pull aside a couple days where we're really just hyper focused into, okay, like here's what you need to know. And I know there's even a lot of people who have been in the business for a while and using this time to just really get new ideas, refresh stuff. So it's really exciting. But we do other sessions similar to this. So in October, we'll have our next virtual event, which we call Sales Workshop. And that's under the umbrella of Travefy Academy. So what that means is that you're going to get a lot of the webinars like you saw yesterday, where we bring in expert people and have panels, that we're really just talking about all different kinds of topics all around how to build a business. So mark your calendars for that. We'll send out more information as it gets closer, but that's going to be so fun. It's free, virtual. Anyone can join. But we also have an in-person event that's next year. And we wanted to tell you now because we just got word like a week or two ago that it's official. So we're like, oh my gosh, we got to let people know. So you heard it here first, folks, so Travel Agent Forum, we went it's this year, but this last one for Travel Agent Forum in Las Vegas. And they asked us to do like an educational half-day sessions. And it was so much fun. And they asked us back. So we're like, yes, let's get it going again. So mark your calendars for March next year. You'll see the dates here. And we'll also send more information out for that. So it's going to be great stuff. So just keep in mind, we do stuff like this all the time. So always be watching for it. Now this is what we already jumped in here and already started talking about it, but we are ready after this, yes. Right after, well, not right after, about an hour. We have an hour just to kind of recoup and then
pre-game.
Join us. Yep, maybe pre-game for it, for Travel Trivia Happy Hour. Bonnie, what can we expect for Trivia Happy Hour?
Well, you're gonna get a lot of travel related questions, obviously. So maybe brush up on some different country knowledge, big, random facts that you can just search up on the internet because I probably have added it into the quiz. So yeah, best of
Interesting.
luck.
Okay. So once this wraps up, then you got an hour to go like spruce up the brain on all things on all the travel
Yes.
stuff. So that'll be awesome. Well, and yeah, I'm so excited. But before we do that though, we'll have a little more educational fun here. So I'm going to pass it over to you, Bonnie, and I'm going to let you take it away. Someone did ask while you're getting set up, I'm going to mention someone asked, where's the trivia link? Is it going to be here on Facebook? That's a good question. So it's actually it's good. We're going to use Zoom meeting. So if you go to not New Agent Bootcamp, just bootcamp.travefy.com. And then go there, and if you scroll to the bottom, there's a save your seat option, but I'm just going to drop the entire link in here so you can sign up. So I'm just going to put that happy hour. There it is. So there's the link in there. I just dropped that in the chat. So, okay. Oh, one last thing, very important thing. While Bonnie's going, I am going to be helping with like the questions. I'm going to try my best to get them all, but I'm also gonna, if we have time at the end, I'm gonna ask Bonnie some of them. So if you can try to use the Q&A panel, it's a little easier to manage. So try to use that if you think about it. But I'll see chat too, but just to note that Q&A is a little easier to manage. So if you can put it there, that'd be great. But with that being said, Bonnie, take it away.
Lovely. Thank you, Stephanie. And thank you everyone for joining us on this session. I love the website builder. So I'm really happy to go through this with you guys. And hopefully my goal at the end is that you feel confident to get in there, test some things, play around with it. The best part, it's included in your subscription, so you might as well use it. But yeah, I am just in Stephanie's account. As you can see, I did swap out our image to be a little bit more on theme. I put a cat in there. But the website builder, now called Pages, is where you can go. So here is this button that we are going to want to go ahead and click. And this is a tool where you can essentially make either or a primary website for yourself. So if you are brand new to this whole industry, first of all, congrats, welcome. But you might be wondering, do I need a company website? Where can I get started? There's a million softwares out there, and I am trying to find one that's going to work. What's nice about Travefy is we have a ton of Travefy travel agent tools for you, including a website builder. However, you might already have a website as well, which is completely okay. And I'll show you here why that is, because you can also make what we call travel landing pages for your clients. So it's a great tool for everybody, no matter what situation you're in. And really, again, the goal of today is just to feel really comfortable with getting in here. And so what we're going to do is we're going to build out a primary website that's super simple. You can see kind of how it works and interacts with other things in your Travefy account. And like Stephanie said, she'll be grabbing some questions for me at the end if we have any we need to go through once more. But to start off, when I clicked Pages, this is where it takes me. It's going to ask you to choose from what we call a theme. And what a theme is, it's pretty much saying, you know what, I like this font. I like the way that these elements look. You can view a demo of these themes if you want to just kind of click around, see what it looks like. The best thing about this, though, is if you choose one, you can always change it later on. Now, I personally am a fan of Kaizen right here, so I'm going to click Apply Theme. Now, what happens is it brings us over to somewhat of a templated page. And I'm going to take this moment to do a little quick vocab lesson. I'm going to be saying website, and I'm going to be saying landing page. This here, as you can see, this brings over automatically once you choose a theme. This is what we would consider a landing page. It's just a single page. We'll see this here soon, but I'm going to create a second page. And when we connect this page with maybe another page of ours, that's when you can start to consider it a website. So it's just a matter of it's singular or if it's plural. Now, as you can see here, there is a lot to look at. And so the place that I always recommend people starting out in is your edit page menu, because this is where we can lay the foundation for this page. And again, can't say it enough. I'll repeat this probably 10 more times. You can always make changes back. So don't feel like you're being locked into anything. But again, we're just on this edit page menu. I'm going to start off in theme. This is what we just chose. You can see where we can actually change this anytime that we want. Santorini is probably the most popular theme I see, so I'm just going to stick with Kaizen just to give it a little bit more love. But the next part to this is theme color. Now, theme color, this is great if you have a logo maybe already made and you have business colors, you can put that in there. Otherwise, if you actually click the box, you can kind of play around with it and you can see how those button colors change. You can see how the headers change. Just make sure, that's going to be bright enough and dark enough, of course, that people are going to be able to read and see what it is. Now, for what I'm going to do today, I am going to grab a color real quick. So first things first, let me grab my theme color from my other window. And I'm just going to paste it on in here. Now we have this kind of burnt orange that we've got going on. This next part though, favicon. This is not your logo, first of all. It's more of a simplified version of your logo that's going to appear at the top of a tab. So whenever someone goes to your page, that little symbol is going to show up. So love the extra branding. If you don't have one, that's okay. You can make one pretty easily. I know in Canva, I'm a Canva lover. So I'm going to just upload one of mine. And of course, it's a matter of figuring out where I put things. So here we go. You can always click edit just to make sure everything's going to fit. It's 96 by 96, but we're going to go ahead, keep our edits, click save. And now we've just got done with one full tab. So we are just going through this pretty easily. But the next thing that we're going to look at is our SEO and social tab. Now, this is a great tool for if you are someone who is making this to be a primary website, because it's going to help bring it up in search results, whether they're using Google, Bing, whatever it may be. And the big thing here is that SEO site description. This is where you want to put in like a 2-3 sentence description about your business, what you specialize in, using keywords is what we call them. So if you are not sure on what an SEO site description should entail, I know there's a million articles online. You can always chat us too if you put something in and you want a second pair of eyes to look at it. But for instance, let's go ahead, put in a quick description. My fake company name is Bonnie Voyage Travels Co. Specializes in if I can spell, of course. Something like that. So if someone were to search Scottsdale, Arizona travel agency, I'm more likely to pop up because I include those own words in my description. You can set your SEO site description for each page you make. So again, if you are a primary website builder, I would make sure to fill that out each time. Now, last piece on this tab, social media image. I usually recommend putting your logo in this spot just because if you were to share this on Facebook, you get a little thumbnail and you get a little site description. This is where that photo is coming from. Of course, if you're making a travel landing page, it's nice maybe if you want to upload a photo of the travelers, if they give you permission, of course, or the destination. But I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to grab one of my logos. Click edit always if you have that, just to make sure everything will fit. So I'm going to go ahead, keep edits and click save. And I'm going to zoom in just so you can see this. You get a social preview. So if I were to post this on Facebook, this is kind of what it would look like. But we just got done with theme. We just got done with SEO and social. The next piece to this is page. Now, page is kind of more so on the back end of things. So now we're going to just work our way from top to bottom, which is really the easiest method when you're going through something like this builder. So the first things first, we have what is called a page slug. I do not know why we call it that. I've asked the designers, they cannot give me an answer, but it's essentially the customizable piece to your URL. So I'm always going back to this example, but if you're making like a travel landing page for your clients where you include all of their details, maybe forms, which we'll get to in a second, you might want to put in maybe like their last names into their URL. So it's, Travefy.com or whatever your domain name is, .com / whatever you want to enter in for page slug. So for me, I might call this home because this is my home page. Page title. This is going to be internal facing, but it's going to help you keep track of what page is which if you need to go back, make any edits. So I'm just going to call this home. Pretty easy and simple. But next piece to this, and this is the last part of our edit page journey together, but is rearrange. If you've tuned in for Stephanie's webinar earlier today and Scott's, you know that Travefy loves drag and drop. Same is true for here in the website builder. As you can see, you get someone of a template with what we call elements, and you have full control over what this actually will look like. You can decide, do I like the flow of everything so far? I'm going to scroll to the bottom. Maybe I want this right here to appear in between here. You go to your edit page, go to your rearrange area. You kind of match the photos up in a way, and you drag and drop it into the order that you want. And you can see the changes being made live, which is always helpful as well, just to determine if you like it or not. And again, of course, you can always move it back if you want to. Now, again, just to summarize, we went to edit page, we went through all of these different tabs. I'm going to click save. We'll visit the page slug again at the end when I publish this. But when I click save, here's what things are looking like so far. Now, whenever you're making a page, whether it is a travel landing page or a website, you want to be cognizant of how lengthy of a page it is. Quite honestly, people are not going to want to scroll a really long ways down your page. So for me, I might think, you know what, this element right here just doesn't really fit with what I'm going for. You are by all means able to delete this. So if I click on it, and that's the big thinking behind this too. If you see something you want to edit, click on it. You get the menu to edit it on the right. Find your 3 dots and click delete. That gets rid of it completely. If you decide, hey, you know what, I hate it, I want to add something back in, click new elements, and you're gonna get a menu of all these different elements that might not have showed up on the templates that you can drag and drop on over into your page. So if you want to use a carousel, you just drag and drop it in. Hopefully you can see this, but there's like a green dotted outline that shows you can go ahead, drop it in. Click save if you like it. And if not, again, you can always remove it out. You can click on the element, find the 3 dots, and click delete. Now, I went through that a little quick, but again, if you have questions, we can always go through this again at the end. But to try and jam pack as much as we can in here, you're coming along with me on building a page. So again, just got done with edit page. Let's start at the top here. I'm going to leave our navigation bar actually for the end when it makes a little bit more sense, but I'm going to start on this right here. So again, if we want to edit it, we click it. We get our menu on the right-hand side to edit, and let's just start putting in some information. So I might say travel with confidence, put your slogan, put your tagline, whatever it might be. There's no right or wrong thing you can put in here. So I'm just going to throw in a couple of slogans, description. I might not have anything for that. Don't feel like you have to fill out every box. I am not, but I do have this add button option. And when you see that option, I usually recommend you try and add a button when possible, because this is what's going to make it interactive and it helps with people staying on your page longer. So I'm going to click add button right here. And here's a menu that we have. And again, working your way from top to the bottom. Let's go through this together. For the button type, this is where you're thinking, what do I want the button to do? Do I want it to go to maybe another page of mine that I created in Travefy, external link, email form? Let's do email address just for right now, because when they click on it, I want it to go to my email. I want them to be able to send me a direct message. So let's put in our email address. And last of all, let's put in what we want that text to say. So I might say just contact for right now. You could put email, you could put inquire, whatever you think looks best. But now it's as easy as just clicking save probably a million times. And already we have one element down. We're going to be doing this a little bit more, so don't feel like this is too overwhelming, hopefully not. But let's move on to this element. Looks a little bit different, but again, same thinking applies. We want to click on it in order to edit it. So starting from the top, let's go ahead, throw something in here. I'm going to say this is like my specialties area. I always want to make sure that when someone visits this page, they know a little bit about me, kind of just piques their curiosity, but still giving them enough information. So I'll put maybe current offerings if I have promotions going on, Pretty easy to go back in here, make edits, advertise, if you will. Description, let's go ahead, put what we're doing. If you see this here, and I'll zoom in, you can click the three dots and you get your standard formatting options that you would see even if you're making a trip. So let's do some bullet points, not numbered. And just throw something in here. There we go. Image, again, if you can throw your logo in, I would highly recommend. Can't have enough branding these days. Let's do my full logo. Click open. And again, you want to do that edit button if you can, just to make sure everything will fit nicely. I'm going to go ahead and click save. You might have seen there too that you have a video option. So if you have a video on YouTube where you're just kind of introducing yourself or, any type of video, you can do that pretty easily as well. But so far, so good. But now this is where I'm going to kick it up just a little bit. So stick with me. This next part here is our large card gallery. This is a great element if you want to connect one of your trips you made in Travefy to your page for easy promotion. And again, if you're doing a travel landing page, you can just give your clients the itinerary all in one spot. So I'm going to click on here. You get your menu on the right-hand side. Maybe you call this inspo, whatever you want to say. I might leave description out for now, but of course you can fill it in if you want. And these have what we call cards. So if you know what, I want to put my trip in this section. It's just kind of a game of matching things up where, yep, this picture matches this section. I want to edit this section. So I'm going to click the pencil icon on this tab. By clicking the pencil, we get the menu for this specific card. So for me, I might call this trip inspo example. A badge is basically a subheading. People will put in prices here. They'll put in maybe like starting at whatever you want to throw in. But I'm actually going to skip all the way to the bottom to import this trip. It says import from Travefy, and hopefully you can see that okay. But I'm going to click it. You get two options. Today, we're just going to select trip. And from here, we have all of our active trips from our account. If you have a lot of trips, it's easier to just search for it. We have 4 in this account right now. So I'm going to click Desert Oasis. And I'm going to zoom in because you can see there's like these little plus symbols that you want to click. And what happens is it brings over the cover photo from the trip. It brings over the title that you had for that trip. And if I included a price, it would bring that over as well. Now, what I'm going to do, though, is I'm going to put some description in here just so it looks a little bit nicer. And we'll delete this out, paste what I've got in here. Maybe I don't like the bold look. I can always get rid of that. And you know what? We'll put something in the badge just so you can see what that looks like. But I'm going to go ahead, click save. Save again. And here so far is what it's shaping up to be. Now, whenever you make big changes like this and you want to see, okay, what is it going to look like when a client or someone stumbles upon my site? You can always click that preview button at the top and you can scroll down. You can kind of see what this looks like on a browser. You can make sure it looks good on a mobile device is what I should say. But you can also test out the button. So if I were to click view trip, here's where it would take us to. We can scroll through. It looks exactly like a standard itinerary where they can still interact with everything. They can scroll through photos, videos, those place attachments. The only difference here is that they have a contact button instead of an app or PDF option. Because if it's someone you've never talked to before, you want to make it easy for them to reach out. And this gets sent to you directly. So if they want to put their name, email, their message in, you can follow up with them. So super, super handy there. And the best part about the website builder is that it doesn't require coding. I always tell people I'm on trainings with, if it required coding, I could not navigate this. But it's just a matter of figuring out what you need to click in when. Now, again, we're going to scroll down here. Maybe I just don't have anything for these other 2 cards, and that's okay. You can find the 3 dots right here. and you just click delete. For the most part, when you see the 3 dots, it usually means you can delete it. And it automatically resizes it and centers it. Now we're already to the bottom, so see how easy this can be. We're gonna go ahead, click into this section. This is what we call a call to action. I usually recommend keeping this element or something similar because it's your last push to people to reach out if they have not already. So what I might go ahead, throw on in here is something like ready to relax, subheading, something like contact us today. I might throw a different image in here instead of a crosswalk. I'll use the database this time. You can just search whatever you want as long as it's a general keyword. You can play around, experiment with it. As you can see, there's a lot of different photos and a lot of them give you a different little bit of an aesthetic. So if you are super into that, definitely take a peek. So for me, I might just grab this one. I'll click save and save again. That's what it's looking like. I probably would have swapped it out for a different photo, but it does the job for right now. Last piece though, down here, before we get back to the top, is our footer area. This is excellent for if you have any social medias you want to link. And I'll show you too how this can be really handy for those of you who might need to put different agency numbers on pages you make. So again, you're probably sick of me saying this. Click into something if you want to edit it. You're going to get your edit menu. Throw your company name on in here. It kind of shows up at the bottom. You probably can't see that too well just because it's a little tiny, but that's where it will show up. And we get our different buttons that we can go ahead and edit. So as you can see, we give you 4 social medias here. If you don't have a social media, maybe I don't have a TikTok, you can find the 3 dots, click delete. If you say, you know what, I have an Instagram, let's go ahead and link that. Find that pencil icon, which in Travefy, again, usually means you can edit it. We'll click that. It's already set up for you. If you're interested in what the icon shows, it's going to show us a couple of different things right here. So if you have a Twitter instead, go ahead, throw Twitter on, up to you. But I'm going to grab a link just to show how easy this can be. I'm grabbing Travefy's Instagram link. And for the link text, you can leave it blank. Most people know what those symbols mean. Otherwise, too, you can always put in the name besides it. So I'll just go ahead. I'm going to actually remove that just to keep things consistent for the most part. Click save. And again, if you need to edit something, find that pencil icon. You can always switch the icons around. You can always delete ones off that you don't need. But over here, you might notice we have about and services. We'll talk more about the actual buttons when we get to the top at the navigation bar, but let's click into services real quick. I'm going to click the pencil icon. We get a standard menu. So again, working our way from top to bottom, we're going to do, let's say we'll do external link because this is great for those of you, again, who have maybe like an agency number or a client number, whatever it might be that you need to display. I got this idea from another agent, so I cannot take credit. But don't put anything in the URL. You're just using it for the text space. So I might say client number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And it shows up there at the bottom. It doesn't need to be clicked on just because it is just that, a number. But that is an easy way where you can display it. Of course, don't feel like you have to put it there. You can always use other elements and think outside of the box with them to make it look the way you want it to. Now, we're going to go up. Scrolling up all the way, you can see what we have so far. And now we're going to talk about that navigation bar. The navigation bar is kind of like the map that you are giving to your clients or whoever's on your page to be able to get to where they need to go really easily. So I'm going to click on it, nav bar. Let's start at the top. Let's put a logo in. As you notice, I have different versions of logos. And this one is great for if you have a very horizontal oriented logo versus a tall one. So what I mean by that is I'm going to go ahead, click upload. This is the one I'm going to put in. If I tried to put this one in, because it's stacked, it would cut off pretty much. So I have just the simple version of mine. I'm going to click save. You can kind of see how that is looking. And again, if you need any help with that, feel free to reach out. I always love kind of thinking around different logos and what you can and can't do. But so far, so good. We have our logo in there. Next, let's talk about those buttons. And this is where we're actually going to, again, kind of just kick it up a little bit, not too much, but we have an about section. If I click that, we have a couple of different options, and this is where I'm actually going to shift gears a little bit, and we're going to talk about how can we connect this to another page. I'm going to click save right now. We will come back to this, but if I click this little tab up here, you can see the drop-down arrow, click on it, and you can see the option to create another page. Some of you might be wondering, is there a limit on how many pages I can make? There is not a limit. I probably have 20 pages on my main account right now. But as you can see, when we create a new page, you get a new blank template. Something quick that I'm going to do, I'm going to make this like my about page. I want them to be able to interact with a lot of my different pages. It just kind of grounds them into my brand. So right here, if you notice, we're in our edit page menu. In the rearrange area, if you've been paying attention, you know those 3 dots usually mean you can delete stuff. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to delete most of this out of here, just so you can kind of see a really quick version of what having multiple pages connected looks like. And you know what, I'm going to delete that call to action out, even though I said to keep that in the beginning. If I can click quick enough, there we go. Click save. We're just, again, mocking something up really, really quick. So I'm going to click into here. We'll say this is our about Bonnie Voyage Travels Co. I'm going to grab some description from my other window here that I will go ahead, copy and paste in. It's always nice to have an about section though, about yourself, just so you don't seem really impersonal on the internet, which the internet is known for. So just making sure people know you're a real company, a real person behind this. So we'll throw in that little messaging. Contact us today, perhaps. Upload your team image if you have one, or your headshot. Actually, I don't even have a headshot on my computer, so I should probably fix that. So I'll just type in woman, grab this lovely image, click save, pretend that is me. And I'm going to add a button if you see that down there. Now, the type of buttons we've done already are that email address. We've kind of talked about external link when we were talking about our social medias. The one that I'm going to do for right here, though, is a form. If you tuned into Scott's, you know all about forms at this point. But when I select form, we just, again, work your way from the top to the bottom, take it slow. We'll put in the button text, maybe inquire here, whatever you want to say, maybe fill out here, let me know if you're interested, whatever it might be. But you get 2 options. One, you can create a brand new form. So if you've never made a form in your account, this is the option you want to go with. Otherwise, if you maybe have some forms in your library, I know Scott shared out the library gallery the last session, which have a lot of form templates. You can click import from Travefy. Obviously, we don't have any in our account, so let's just create a new one really, really quick. With these forms, and if you tuned into I believe it was our first, or maybe it was our last session from yesterday, keep the forms simple. Ask really good questions. Don't just ask like 10 million, or otherwise people aren't going to fill it out. So I might say intake form. I'm going to click add new. We're going to add just 3 questions really quick. We'll do name. I'm going to scroll down. Whenever you have the option, do a smart field. This is what records the information and creates that automatic contact in your account. I'm requiring most of these. And let's go ahead. What other questions do I want to say? What is your email? Again, smart fields for any contact questions. Last of all, I'm going to say, and we'll make this a long answer. You could, of course, add additional text or instructions, which if we had more time, I probably would do that. I'd probably add my logo in here as well. Again, love branding, if you couldn't tell that, but require, click done again, save. a million times just to make sure everything is there. And let's go ahead, preview this really quick. If we click inquire here, here's that pop-up window that comes up. Pretty simple for them to just fill it out really quick. Hit continue. They get a summary of their responses. They'll be able to submit it. You're emailed, of course, a direct notification that so-and-so filled it out, creates that contact for you already in your contacts in Travefy, and you can follow up with them really easily. Great way to have like a little warm lead magnet on your website. Now, we're gonna go back to our homepage. I'm actually gonna publish this really quick. Go back to our homepage. Here's what it's looking like. We're going back to that navigation bar. If you remember from, why we initially created a new page, we're going to connect this page. I'm going to click that pencil icon. Starting from the top, we're going to say, you know what, I want to connect this to another page of mine. Select page. It's going to say, okay, what page? Pretty easy. We have just one other page. I didn't title this one, so it's untitled page. We want to keep that text. About's pretty straightforward. Save. And the other type of button we did not talk about, which let's just go ahead and finish up since we're doing okay on time, is page section. If you have a lengthier page, that is okay. But if you do, I would recommend having some buttons at the top of your nav bar where they can click into it and it takes them directly to that section, page section. So we'll keep it as page section. Say, okay, what section do you want it to go to? Maybe like inspo. And I'm going to title it similarly, inspo. Save. We'll save again. Let's hit preview. So if I click about, here's where it takes me. You might have noticed it opens another tab. That's because we're in preview mode. When this is all published, it'll keep us on the same tab, so it's not going to open up a million for your client. If I click inspo, look at that. It takes me to that page section. So kind of fun, but last step here, you made it to the end. If we click edit page and we click that publish button, that is what makes it live on the internet. This is also going to give you your URL. Publish. Here's what that is looking like. If I zoom in, here's what the URL looks like. I can copy that. I can paste this into a social media post. I can put it in my address bar. I can see what that looks like. If you really wanted to, you could probably get to it as well. But this is where I'm going to talk about if you want to step this up even further. And it's not going to go too in depth, but it gives you kind of a sneak peek on what maybe next steps you might want to take with your website or your travel landing page. And that is domain masking and analytics. If you notice here, there's a little settings gear. Now, if you don't know what I'm saying about domain, for instance, Travefy is our domain name. So all of our websites going to have Travefy. If you might have your own domain, perfect. You can buy your domain through a lot of different places, such as GoDaddy, Google Domains, Wix, Squarespace, a lot of other companies as well. And if you own a domain, you can domain mask your account for free in Travefy. So if you're interested, you click set up domain. Apparently we didn't purchase our subscription, Stephanie, so that's okay.
Whoops.
But yeah, whatever. But if you have a purchased account or you've actually selected a plan, you can go through the steps on how to domain mask your account. It requires you to say, do I have a website already attached to the domain? Do I not? Depending on that question and how you answer, we're going to give you what we call DNS records to put into your DNS panel. That sounds like complete gibberish still, even though I've said that a million times. And if it sounds like gibberish to you, feel free to chat us. We actually do free domain masking sessions. As long as you own a domain, we can help you out. It takes maybe 10 minutes tops to get that all done. But what that does, it actually will put your company or your domain name into your links. So not only will your website not have Travefy in the URL, it'll have your company name. This also goes for form links and trip links. So super nice branding opportunity for you. I find it as a really good next step to go to, especially if you're kind of just sitting there and you're wondering, okay, what's next? I've done all of what I can do right now. How do I get more people? How do I get my brand name out there? Domains is probably the area you want to check out. Very last thing though, before we get into any questions, is that settings gear again. here's that domain name choice choice. You can go to analytics. So if you are someone who maybe has Metapixel set up or Google Analytics, this is where you can kind of manage how many clicks were into my landing page, how long did they stay there. You can go ahead, connect them. And again, this is no extra charge. We'll only charge for our subscription. So you can click Manage Website Analytics, takes you back to your settings. And this is where you can go ahead, get that set up. The only thing you might notice here, you have to set up your custom domain. But with that being said, I'm looking at time. We have a good amount of time for any questions. As Stephanie, you grab some questions, I'm actually going to put in a couple of website examples that were given to us by other agents. Always helpful to kind of see how some other people set it up. The Travefy official group on Facebook, there was recently like a contest of some sort where people put in their website examples, and it is so cool to take a look at. But I'm going to go ahead, throw these two websites that I have in the chat, and you guys can take a look at it, but we will get to questions here now.
Cool. Okay. So first of all, I apologize if I don't know if we're going to get through them all, but email us. Especially, I will be honest, when it comes to the website stuff, there's a lot of these questions are a little easier answered if we're one-on-one talking with you. So if you don't get something answered, or if I answered something, you're like, what? I feel like there's a couple things I answered that you might be, what are you talking about? Email our team at professional@travefy.com or live chat us. It might be easier. Just when you get in the website stuff, just gets a little different because you might have to show things. But I do have some questions though. So, okay, so the first one, Bonnie, is how many custom pages are allowed?
You can make as many custom pages as you want, which is super, super nice. That same thing goes for like, how many trips can you make? You can make as many as you want, how many forms you want to make. It's limitless.
Limitless. I love that. That's so cool. Okay, so this one's really cool, and I might have to point you in a direction, but you might already know, Bonnie. But so Jen asked, where should we put in our terms and conditions? So I have a little hack. Do you know it? I've seen someone do this.
Let you take that. I have different ideas when I hear terms and conditions, so I'm going to let you talk on this.
Okay, because this is really cool. So this is, again, I can't take credit. Someone did this one time, but what they did was they created a new page. So if you create a new page, and then what they did is they just took out like all the things which you don't have to do, but but they basically like put in the element. I think it would just be like the text element.
Right. I would say the text block is excellent for this.
Yeah. So you just put that in, and that's literally all you would do. So you like create this page, and now with this page, you would have the link that you can then connect it to another part of your page, or if you need to put it like in the footer, which usually is where it is, you would put it like in the footer. Here, we'll let Bonnie show you, because this will make a lot of sense when you see it.
Text block. Oh my gosh.
Text block.
I need another.
It's been a day. It's been a day.
Terms and conditions.
Right.
Oh gosh. But yeah, you can start to shape the idea from here. But yeah, once you publish that page, similar to that about page we made together, you can definitely use that footer area to connect a button to your terms and conditions without bogging down your homepage.
Do you mind showing how, because I know there are a couple questions on like, and there were a lot of questions about kind of on this is like, how do you connect these pages together?
Yeah, absolutely. Let's go ahead. Instead of using the nav bar like last time, I'm going to go down to our footer. Footer and nav bar, virtually the same thing. Footers are, of course, just at the end of the page. But when I click here, and let's say, you know what, I need to add a button in for my terms and conditions. I can click add item. You can choose whether it's a button or a link. The only difference is a button's going to have that border, a link's not. I'm going to go ahead, just do a link. We'll do page because we know we want to point it to another page of ours or connect it to another page of ours. So we'll select page. Now, when I say select page, we have two options. One is our untitled page, which is our about page that I forgot to title. And then that terms and conditions one that we just quickly mocked up together. We say, you know what, here's the page. Here's, the specific one. What do we want to title it? Maybe I'll just do terms and conditions. Most people would know what that is, hopefully. You might actually want to put terms and conditions down. But then I can click save. You can also drag and drop these if you didn't know. So I might put it next to my CLIA number right there. Click save. And another thing to point out, which this is great that we have this question come up, because you notice I made some edits. I now have the option to publish my changes. Perfect. I'll click publish. Now, if I were to go to my URL link right there, again, you can find it by going to edit page. Let's go here, paste it on in, go to the bottom. Here's what that kind of looks like and interacts like. So great question to bring up with this.
Yeah.
Connecting pages is always kind of that one where it's like, where do I go? What do I do?
Totally.
So totally
Yeah.
get that question.
I know. And there are a lot of questions too that people are asking, like if they have like a lot of host agencies, if they have them and can they connect it? And technically, yes, it's just that you're taking the external link, like you're taking the link to view this site and you're putting it somewhere else and vice versa. Because you can always link, like it's like you're copying and pasting the link, you know?
Exactly. And that is another great thing too. Like if you have affiliate links you want to put on here, I know I always go to Viator. I love Viator.
Oh yeah.
But if you have like an affiliate link you want to throw on your page somewhere, you can definitely, let's just grab this one. I didn't add a button here for some reason, so this is perfect. You can click add button, set it as external link, leave it as no icon, unless of course it's a social media link that you're throwing in. But then it's just as easy as putting in your affiliate link right here and just saying, what do I want it to say? You know, book here maybe probably would make the most sense if you had an affiliate link right inside there. But yeah, buttons are going to be your very best friend when it comes to just making a really good looking page that works the way you want it to. And as I talk and try and do this at the same time, we actually made a new FAQ. I didn't, I guess Jonathan from our team did a whole FAQ about buttons, which Stephanie, you might have shared, but I'm going to just share it again.
I shared that one. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a pretty new one, which I think is kind of the blueprint or cheat sheet, if you will, to all of this. So we just throw it in our chat here. And it's going to tell you everything you need to know about buttons.
Perfect. Oh, everything. It's like it's something so simple, a button, but there's a lot of things. Actually, let me ask you a question on the button. Because I was going to ask this anyway. Is Debbie asked, can you highlight the Inquire Here button, the color? So that color is actually coming from your settings. So if you can show that, like when you edit your page in your theme, and you can choose your color. Color, that's where your button color is coming from.
Yes, your theme color is where that is coming from. So if you ever need to change it or you're doing a whole, brand refresh, you can always go in, change that again. You can kind of see here. I'm going to actually copy this. You can see how when I start to move this thing around, we get those different colors.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah. With a lot of this too, with the elements, we try to keep things as similar to the trip builder as we can, because we don't want you to have to learn a whole another new product where it's like, okay, what does this symbol mean? What does this do? We try and keep it similar, where pencil icon you can find throughout Travefy. One thing you can do, I think you should be able to, is you can always highlight your text in here just by clicking the 3 dots. These are the standard formatting options you have in your trip builder as well. So kind of some customization options for you there.
Yeah, that's awesome. And you already showed this because I was going to ask this, but you showed the social icons because someone asked, and they were like, they asked like threads. So we don't have threads yet. I mean, I'm going to have to get on the team. I have to be like, team, there's a new social, we can't keep up with social media. Now we need a new one. So there's no threads yet, but you can still write threads. You could write it and then link it in there.
Right.
So another question. Okay, so this is something I can't remember if you went over this or not, and we don't have to get too deep into it because this could literally be its own webinar. But Debbie said, I'm creating a landing page now. Awesome. But she mentioned in the SEO box, should I put info about me or use words that help promote the trip? So the SEO box is really, so SEO is search engine optimization. So to use that, I think, no, we have an FAQ on this. Let me find it. And Bonnie, I'll let you explain, but I'm going to find this because it'll be helpful.
Yeah. So SEO, I personally would recommend thinking about who is searching and for your page and who you would want to work with. Like, would they put in travel agent for blah, 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 how many years you might have been in the travel industry? Or would they probably be looking for that destination? And most times it's going to be about the destination or the trip you're promoting. So if you're making something like a promotion page where you're talking about maybe your upcoming trip you're planning for Fiji, perfect. I would start with the SEO site description for Fiji. And of course, in the page itself, you can talk a little bit about you. I would always recommend putting a little personal touch in there, just saying, you know what, I'm a real person. I've been traveling for how many years and I love it. But yeah, SEO, think of those key words, which I think, Stephanie, were you able to find that FAQ?
I did. I threw it in the chat. Yep.
Perfect. We also link to, I believe it's a Google article actually, because obviously they're probably the biggest search engine there is. So they have some great tips on what you should put in there so you can appear in the top of their search results. The other one that I'm going to put in there, which I think may or may not be an FAQ that we might have, is you can domain crawl your site. Now, this is more advanced. I personally have not done this before, but if you are someone who's maybe been in tech or maybe has someone who's super techie, is to domain crawl your site, which just basically applies something to Google and they take a look and they're like, great, we'll make sure to put your website up in those search results. It's kind of just being more proactive about the entire thing, something you can choose to do if you want to. But I'm going to throw that in there as well. But Google really is the expert on SEO. So we link a lot of things to them.
There's literally people that like, that's their job is SEO, and it blows my mind. Like, it's crazy stuff. But I think that's so cool though, that our page does that, because the whole point of this is like marketing and to be found. And so for us to specifically have areas like that's actually pretty cool. So it's like, it seems like a small thing and you're like, I don't want to waste time on that, but it's actually really important. But it's next
worth
level.
it in the end.
So
exactly. Cool. One thing I forgot to mention, since we're talking about SEO, and again, just to really simplify it, SEO is just going to help you bring yourself up in search results. Something you can do if you don't want to domain crawl, which I totally understand, is on some of these where there are images, you can put in image alt text, which is just another tool that helps you get brought up in those search results because it makes it a little bit more friendly to people with different size devices, or if they have like a screen reader, whatever that might be that they're on. Image alt text, easy enough to just say logo image, and that's done. But yeah. Good stuff. We could talk a lot about SEO. Honestly.
I know it really could be its own. I have another one here because I know this is very common that happens. Is someone mentioned like how their logo is really small in the nav bar, and we recommend would be horizontal. Yeah, horizontal. Yes. And then the sizing, which let me throw this sizing article on all the images. We have an FAQ that has all the image sizing we recommend. And I think for the logo, it's 600 by 150. But something that we see a lot too is if their logo has like a lot of like white padding around it, that's going to take up space. So make sure that it doesn't have like extra, like if it's like in the middle and there's a lot of white around it or something, like make sure that that's
trim
not
it down.
Yeah.
Crop it, snip it as close to just the text if you can.
Yeah.
So I know all about the logo sizing and whatnot. If you want to know why it's like that, and I've had the designers explain this to me before too, because it's like, I made this great logo. I want it in there. Why is it not showing the way I want it to? It's because it needs to be adaptable to mobile and desktop. So we automatically do that for you. A lot of website builder places are going to have you try and create two different versions, which quite honestly, with how busy travel is, we just do not have enough time to make two of the same thing. So we just automatically do that for you where we size it to mobile, we size it to desktop. But of course, with that, make sure you have to get a logo that works with both types. But like Stephanie said, try and crop it as close as you can. Keep it horizontal. Don't try and make it super tall. Again, this logo of mine, though it's horizontal, it's stacked. So this would not show up very well in the nav bar. It's just too big.
Just too big. Yeah. And also too, like, feel free to email our support too. If you're like, I cannot get this, like, just let us know and we can take a look at it too and check it out. I have another thing that actually I want you to click because I'm not sure I know the answer to this though, but someone had mentioned they have a site with multiple pages and they can't figure out how to make their logo on each page point back to the home page, but does it? I'm trying
No,
to
so the
I didn't
logo
think
is
so.
not clickable. So
Yeah.
I would always just do in the nav bar for every page, except maybe your home page, of course, just a home button. Oh, this actually brings up a really good point. If you are someone who is making a primary website or even a travel landing page, I'll actually point it to the travel landing page people, just because I've been talking about a primary website for the majority of this, is if you make one, it's probably going to take a little bit of time to make that initial one. If you have another 2, 3 clients who want the same exact thing, one, I hope you are charging a service fee for that. 2, what you can do is just make a template of the page. That way you can click edit page. This here is what's going to make a copy. That way you don't have to make the same navigation bar. You don't have to go through each time and do the same links. It's just a matter of swapping out maybe the itinerary that you've added in here for whatever your clients is. But that's a really easy way where you don't have to remake the nav or footer bar, which typically you want to stay the same throughout all of your pages.
Mm-hmm. Another question here for you is Jenny asks, is there an additional cost to use the web templates? But I love though she mentioned, I have purchased my own domain and hosting via Wix, but have not set the website up. Your system seems easier. It is. That's why we did this, because it was like, it's a dead simple website builder, but is there an additional cost? And actually somebody asked that too, is what's the subscription cost? Is there an additional cost? So can you go over that, Bonnie?
Yes, of course. One, we only charge for the subscription, which includes all of the features that you see. So if you want to use the website builder, you want to play around with it, we are not charging you additional for it. It's already included. And subscriptions, we keep it simple here. We have 2 subscription types to keep track of. One is a monthly, one is billed annually. Monthly, I believe, is $39. The annual is $372. Always feel free to chat us though, because we have a lot of preferred partnerships and discounts, and we're more than happy to help out when we can. So
Yeah.
take that how you will.
It's all, yeah.
But yeah, definitely
so
play
cool.
around in here. And I would highly recommend, I think you said her name was Jennifer. If you own a domain, schedule an appointment with us ASAP so we can get that domain masked for you.
Mm-hmm. Yes, 100%. I know I've shared that with a couple people already in here. I have 2 more questions for you. So one, so someone asked, this is a good one to mention, is someone, Robin asked, can you add a thank you page or confirmation page once someone completes a form? So when you do complete a form, like if you can customize that.
At this time, no, you cannot customize that. I would say with anyone who might have feedback on, what, I would love for this to be on here. I've been using the website builder for a while, but I would love to see this. Even when it comes to like trip features that we might not have, chat us all the time. We have a designer who we can loop in a lot easier, who can log that. So quick answer is no, you cannot customize a confirmation page that pops up. I would recommend though, because they get a success page at the end, putting it in a text block at the end of your form where it just says, or maybe at the beginning even, where it says, thanks so much for looking to inquire with me. I will get back to you within blah, blah, blah business days. Signed, your next travel agent, whatever you want to do there. But yeah, I love to think outside the box workarounds for features we might not have, because I love taking the feedback and then I want to make sure you have some alternative. Most client champions will try and give you some alternatives because we hate to say no, but sometimes that's just the plain old answer.
Like, sorry, I know we don't like that.
Sorry, but this is what you can do instead for the time being. But who knows? You might see that feature, a couple months down the line. We have a lot of fun things coming up. So
yeah, that'd be cool.
Worth, reaching out about it.
So Robin actually had an awesome idea. She said it would be great to have a review my website for suggestions, like with things, but technically you could kind of do that because we do have trainings. So, well, first of all, you can just chat us. So chat us and then just be like, hey, check this out. But also,
I love
if
checking
you do
out websites.
Bonnie's the one you want. Yeah. Bonnie, look at this website. I mean, I loved watching. I was like, wow, this is so good. Like, this is so awesome. But yeah, like also, I mean, Bonnie is just scheduling the training probably good too.
Yes, schedule a training. That way we can actually screen share and we can look at your account. You can share it with us. If you have any ideas, I love the trainings that I get where I've met with them before and it's more of a consultation than anything, where it's like, what can I do more? What can I do next? And a lot of the times it's like, you're doing everything you can. This is great. But yeah, schedule a training with us. It's more personal. It's one-on-one. But of course, if you're busy, chatting us always works great too.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it is. I love it. Okay, that's perfect. It's like a website consultation call. Perfect.
Honestly, we should have just a special link for that where it's just me because I love taking all of those.
Yes,
That's where
it
I
just
get a
goes straight to
lot of
Bonnie.
my ideas from. So
Yes. Oh, and you did mention, okay, one last thing. I know that you mentioned the Facebook group. I'm going to link to that. Let me link to our Facebook group super quick here, because that is where people are going to, oh yeah, good call. It's just right there.
it's in the support page, but yes.
Yeah, this is, okay, right there. Boom, I got it there. But a lot of people will share things in there, and it's really cool to see what people are doing and just seeing all the different ways, because like someone even said, they're like, wait, so this could be an itinerary. It could be. So yeah, we don't have like an example on hand, but it can be. Yeah, you can do whatever you want. So it's so cool. Oh, I love it. It's so awesome.
There's a ton of ideas that you can do with these elements. Like we give you prompts, obviously, if you can take a look at that. But I've seen a ton of out of the box ideas, like a lot of times with the medium card gallery, great one if you want to do like a team section where it's like meet the team. Here's some more information about Julia and about Jane, or if you have some testimonials, which I love testimonials as someone who is more of a traveler than anything. But yeah, a lot of different things that you can play around with. And of course, again, can't say it enough. Let us know if you have a question where it's like, I have this idea. How should I do it? Do you have any suggestions?
100%. And I know a couple people in the Q&A panel said, how do we schedule training? If you go into the chat, I threw the link in there, but also if you just go to travefy.com/support, you can see that option. But also if you're like in, like how Bonnie was in your account, you can live chat and then just say like, I want to schedule training. Some people are asking specifically for you, Bonnie. So we'll have to, they might just have to ask in support, and maybe you shall receive. We'll try to accommodate.
It's always a round robin, so it's always randomized.
Yeah, you never
so it's
know.
Just you'll see who you get, but everyone on our client champion team is excellent. They have seen so many different things. They have different ideas of their own. But yeah, we'd love to have you.
Yeah, it'll be so cool. Love it. Well, thank you, Bonnie. Everyone was like, this is awesome. I know there's so many ideas, lots more still questions. So again, sorry we couldn't get to all of them, but our support team is ready. But one last thing, I have to share my screen one more time because I am now at the end of my slideshow, and it's just one slide left is travel trivia happy hour. So we'll see you in less than an hour for travel trivia happy hour.
Yes, so bring your drinks, water, tea, maybe some alcohol.
Whatever time of the day, we won't judge. Yeah. It's going to be really fun. So we'll see you soon. Yeah.
Let's just say if you missed Amazon Prime, we got Amazon gift cards. So
oh, I didn't even think about that. Oh, well, it's gonna be great. It'll be so awesome.
Yep.
Cool. All right. And, someone just asked, is there a link for happy hour? Yes, go to bootcamp.travefy.com, scroll down to the bottom, and you'll see the sign up there.
You will find us.
Cool.
All right.
See you guys.
See you in an hour.